Welcome, everybody. Welcome to my webinar, broadcasting live from Mexico City, 8 a.m. my local time, 14-hour GMT time. Today is Wednesday, January 11th, 2017. This is your webinar, WoW Trades. Hope you enjoy it. My name is Alberto Alvarado. This is me, myself, in the picture. Here we go. A quick information about me before starting is the same old-fashioned information that I always give to you, but it's very important that when we put our hands, when we put our knowledge in hands of somebody, at least to know the background. This is very important to keep it real, because there are a lot of traders that they state themselves that they are profitable, etc., but they really don't give any kind of background. Overall, the bad one. So, again, my name is Alberto Alvarado. I am the one there in the picture. I'm a trader, self-made trader based in Mexico City with more than 11 years of experience. I need to update this slide. Trading the financial markets. I started in 2005, and my first 2 years. At that time, in 2005, I opened my first live account that was more or less $10,000, and I lost it all in less than a month. But the important thing in 2005 is that I found out that I really was hooked into the markets, that I really liked this, and I really wanted to take seriously my education there and to educate myself to become a good trader. So I spent the first 2 years educating myself after losing my first live account. In 2007, I started grasping the first good results of my education, just to see, again, my account evaporate in 2008 in the so-called financial crisis that we all know. And at that time, I had to decide whether to leave it or continue, and taking a very big cost, personal cost, I decided to continue. But then I realized that what I thought it was my edge at that time, it was not complete, because of course in 2000, the crisis of 2008 taught me that it was not complete. So I decided to continue, but include emotional, intuitional, and creative elements. Let's say the non-rational part of the brain. And it ended up working well for me. So what you're going to see here is a result of all that. Besides that, I use traditional tools like technical analysis, the free tools, MACD, stochastics, RSI, Bollinger Bands. I'm a strong believer that custom indicators, buying robots, buying indicators is not the way to go, because it becomes you dependent on others. And the idea of becoming a trader is to become as independent as you can get. So this is the basics of myself, so let's continue. For the ones that haven't subscribed to my free YouTube channel, I strongly invite you to do so. You go to YouTube, and in the search box, you type what it is here, IIIB_S Trading Room Channel. This will show up, and you click subscribe. Don't worry, you don't have to do it now. You will receive a recording in the email, in your email that you've registered. And you can check out the recording and calmly check this out and look for it and subscribe. Today is going to be a very special webinar, right? This is the first webinar of myself here in binary.com in 2011, so I decided to call it Welcome 2017. This is going to be a webinar where I will share more or less what you can expect from my weekly webinars in binary.com. And by the way, for the ones interested, I deliver Spanish webinars once a month. The next one is going to be next week, but in a weekly basis, I share webinars, free webinars here through binary.com every Wednesday. So that's going to be be the same. So I honestly hope that you have enjoyed last year's webinars that I started broadcasting for binary.com, and that you found some value in the information that I share here. I would like to, I hope that my style here that I share uh, has influence, a good influence in your preparation as traders. You all know that what you see here are not free trading signals or something like that, because that's not the idea of sharing webinars. Sharing webinars is to share my knowledge to help others to have their own style understanding the markets, because that is what will become you independent. It would be a contradiction to start saying that my description, this thing about technical custom indicators, that I'm the strong believer that that is not a way to go, because that becomes you dependent on others, and I start doing the same. So this is the style. I would like to thank the ones that follow the webinars, that like the webinars. That's the best reward that I can get. So this is not going to be a webinar where I pull the charts and I start explaining why. I have some news for this year format, and it's important that and thanks everybody in the chat box for saying hi and saying that we're here. I am very glad to have you here. Thanks for your preference. And well, this year I'm going to switch, make a 180 degrees in change of the style that I deliver the webinars, and I want to explain you why. We have this Trump effect. Donald Trump is going to hold as president in 9 days, if I'm not wrong. But this uncertainty factor, because yes, Trumponomics and Trump understands apparently becoming president of the United States, with all due respect to his voters. I'm not going to start this as engage into a politics discussion, because that's not the idea of this. But this is a raw fact. The Trump factor adds a layer of uncertainty that we haven't seen before. At least not in my whole trading career. I have 11 years trading the markets, and this is unique. This is a very unique situation. Since I started watching, because as you already know, I took like 1 month of vacations before start delivering webinars and trading the markets. And since the very beginning of this year that I started watching the charts and trying to keep up with the pace of the market to feel again the sensation of the markets, the waves of the markets, I can tell you that the markets are behaving already strange. I cannot explain exactly what it is, but it just simply feels different. The markets are starting to move in a very different manner, and this has an explanation, and that is why I'm going to change the approach of the following webinars. Trump effect. The markets. The idea of the markets is that they anticipate things. That is why most of us, when we start trading, we lose money, because we tend to react after the market moves, just to see the market move against us, because the market doesn't reward anybody that reacts after the market made the move. You need to anticipate the move, and you need to be positioned beforehand, and to take profits or losses depending on the side that you wear, taking them. And there is where the market rewards the risk. Once a movement's already done, there is no risk anymore. So that is why it's very simple why when we start trading, we lose money. The markets are meant to do that. But the thing is, with this uncertainty factor of Trump, just quickly, we don't know exactly what this guy is up to. We really don't have an idea how he's meant to achieve the goals, the promises that he gave to his voters. Most of them are very questionable, because it's not that easy. It's very different from promising something to the people and other things to have it done, because you have to lead with the government, and that is something that Trump is not familiar with, at least not at this level. So the markets are getting really uncertain what's next. We have no idea the real position that he's going to hold. that he's going to hold for the next Chinese approach with free trading agreements with Mexico. We have no idea how he's going to behave with monetary policy. So we're just about to face a lot of problems. Okay, so the markets will start becoming automatically inefficient, and this year is going to be the label of this year is going to be not only volatile with huge volumes and huge volatility, but erraticness. That means that volatility is when you have a price moving faster or having a change in price, let's say faster than average during some certain time. But one thing is that, and the other thing is erraticness. It's not the same thing. Erraticness is actually the markets not knowing what to do. And this is something that didn't happen even in the 2008 crisis. Why? Because in the 2008 crisis, we already feared that maybe capitalism could be the end of capitalism. But the idea is that everybody had the certainty that the way to go was to sell the stock markets, to buy commodities, and to buy dollars. But the thing is that we won't have the dollar as the night sky reference anymore. The markets will lose the skill of trying to anticipate something because there is nothing that you can anticipate at this point because we really don't know. And you can see this. Trump just tweeted something on Ford, this company that makes cars, actually threatening Ford to avoid building a new plant in Mexico because they were going to face very heavy taxes in the border immediately. And this is the bad thing: immediately, using an informal way and protocol that is Twitter, Ford immediately canceled the idea of opening a plant in Mexico. So what this means? This means that not even the traditional protocolary means that we were used to the latest century are good enough. This means that we have no idea the way this guy will behave, the instruments that he will use, how he will use them, for how long. He has demonstrated that he's not shy of actually and in a very combative way to threaten enterprises, to push them or to make them do what he wants. So the idea that we don't know if that's going to continue because now was an enterprise, but how about maybe start threatening countries, maybe China? So the projection window of any trading opportunity in this year, and I am afraid that maybe for the next at least 2 years, is going to be uncertain and erratic because the markets won't have anything clear to stand on before deciding investment programs. And I'm talking why the erraticness? Because there are very huge players in the markets, pension funds, for example, retirement funds. And the objective of this kind of funds is to invest money in very long-term instruments. But immediately this year, that long-term instruments are over because we really don't know what's going to happen. We really don't know the consequences of this very unorthodox way to approach to the economics by Donald Trump. So the question is where all that money that usually the pension funds start putting in different kind of markets during, for example, the year. What's going to happen with that money? They just cannot sit on their hands. They need to put that money to work. So what I expect this year is that this kind of funds, when they see a very short-term opportunity, maybe in the time window of maybe 1 or 2 weeks, those are going to be the ones really trying to grab those opportunities. So the moment maybe that opportunity is detected, you will have huge movements into one direction. And maybe when it gets to a certain price, you will see another movement against with a very, very high volatility. And when you see volatility after volatility, it becomes erraticness. So it will become very hard to differentiate when the market is reacting on fear, when it's maybe a big fund that is entering into the market or taking a big losses or big profits, because this kind of institutions will lack of better opportunities. So we need to adapt to that. It would be, that my style is trying to explain bigger movements that usually were explained by geopolitics or fundamentals. But in this year, that will lose relevance since there won't be any fundamental that will work to explain the movements that we're just about to see. Because we can see that it has even more influence a Trump tweet, a simple tweet, a 120 character tweet, than any other kind of thing. For example, it worked very well to spook investors from Mexico, this thing with of Ford. But the thing is that it's not that easy. There is already a NAFTA agreement. There are already obligations from the three sides, Canada, United States, and Mexico. And this guy was that quick tweeted, just said what he wanted, no matter if that even goes against a current free trading agreement. So the markets already showed us that they truly believe that Donald Trump can have things done, even if those are things unrealistic or that could take a lot of time. So that is why then fundamentals, it would take what? One tweet from Donald Trump to wipe out maybe a bad or a good non-farm payroll number, for example. Or it would take a tweet from President Trump to wipe out maybe a movement after a rate hike by the Fed. So it only takes 120 characters from this guy to move everything. And that is new. The next focus on this webinar is to focus on intraday. Something that I don't like that much, if I can be honest. My trading style is more longer term overall for webinar purposes because it would not make any sense to for me, at least before this 2017, to start saying, okay, I see opportunities here and there, and really not sharing the knowledge behind, because that would become you dependent on my webinars, dependent on my opinions. And that's not what I am looking for. I'm not delivering webinars for that. So as an anticipation of what you will see here, you will see the next webinars, because I need to give an explanation before, because if not, you will suddenly see that change and maybe you don't feel right, maybe you like it more. I know that it's way more popular to hold webinars explaining shorter term movements, etc. But I have always bet for sharing very high quality information here rather than just focusing on a very short term opportunity. I will do my best to continue doing both. But the thing is that the fundamentals, maybe I won't be talking about them anymore that much, nor about geopolitics. Why? Again, because that will lose relevance, complete relevance. I mean, I guess the best fundamental source from now on is going to be Donald Trump tweets. And that's a shame, but that's a reality. So the next time, the next opportunity windows that maybe we will looking for, maybe are going to be 2-3 day opportunity windows, not more, or even less. I used to manage the daily charts as the base of my analysis. That's going to change. My base is going to become the 1 hour chart or even the 30-minute chart. So you will see much more active my charts here. So another thing that will change of the webinars is, of course, that if I spend, let's say, 50%, 70% of the webinar explaining some movements, I won't have that time to explain maybe the fundamentals or the Donald Trump influenced tweet influence that have of the latest movement in the latest movement. So maybe I will use my YouTube channel to explain that with more calm and just focus here on the tactics. I usually like to believe that my webinars are more strategic, but there won't be any kind of a strategy that will continue working during 2017. And this is another um, comment that I wanted to give you. If you are already in that break-even zone, or even if you are already profitable trading the markets, you need to be very aware that you won't be surprised that all the things that used to work stop working. Because again, we have now this uncertainty factor that is Donald Trump. Imagine that Donald Trump is another kind of indicator, another kind of fundamental indicator, and maybe the most important one. And it's not based in reality, in data, but in his own opinions. So there is simply no way that any kind of traditional approach to the markets will work. And you're not the only ones. Even the professional, even the overall investment funds, the big guys with big pockets, with big money, are in the same situation. So we're all in this world fueled of uncertainty. That is why the opportunities will last way less, maybe 1, 2 hours, maybe 2 days, but maybe opening trades during for 1 week, 2 weeks, 4 weeks are over, at least this year. So I really felt the strong obligation of telling you this as a just to take precautionary steps. I already know people that started trading the markets unprofitably this year. And they're scratching their heads saying, why, if last year, 1 month ago, my strategies work, and now they are not working anymore. We need to see the bigger picture. So I hope that with my webinar, you will start having a more in-depth insight on how Donald Trump is changing the trading environment, and that the tools that I share here, my knowledge, will help you to develop and to adapt this new trading environment. Yes, trading, in my opinion, I started trading in 2005. I got through the whole 2008 crisis. I lost money, yes, but I learned, I survived. I expect that trading will become as hard as 2008 and even harder. Because in 2008 we had objective things to fight at. But now we have a subjectiveness from the president that is maybe very willing to change quickly opinions. And that is something that the markets really don't like. So the challenges are big, but our intelligence and overall our teamwork is strong. So all together here we will find the best way to start start understanding differently the markets, to adapt to this new situation, and to have this as a complementary part of our trading education, so you can develop your very own insights of the markets. So I honestly hope that the webinar delivered here will help you with that. I believe that it's everything for today. What I will prepare next week, and more or less the format, is you will see, of course, the traditional intro. I will pull my charts, basically explaining technicals, explaining what and why I see some potential movements to the upside or to the downside, it depends. Try to explain them using technical jargon, and if there is something important to say about Donald Trump tweets, maybe to include them in the description of the trading opportunities. You know that I hesitate. This is not a signal service, but I will try to approach the best quality information based now on technicals, on tactics, maybe not as strategic as before, to help you with this very wild 2017 trading environment that we will see. I would like to thank everybody for your preference for preparing this webinar during 2016, and that we all engage into this very fantastic journey during the 2017. It's going to be challenging, but we all together as a teamwork, we will be able to to get happily to the end of this year and to look back and to know that we learned. We learned real things that will have a good influence in our trading knowledge. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for binary.com for opening the opportunity for me to continue delivering webinars here. Thank you very much, Charis, for your help, for receiving me this year. I wish you all the best for this 2017, and remember that next week, same time, same place, you will receive an email of my when my webinar will take place, and the Spanish webinars also. Thank you very much, everybody, for showing up. This was Alberto Alvarado. This is WoW Trades. Hope you enjoyed it. Remember to trade safe, be safe, and bye-bye.